Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of our old farmhouse. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some tips on properly supporting your tomato plants to guarantee a successful harvest in this 2025 grow season. Now, the number one most important thing to growing tomatoes is having healthy plants and soil. They go hand in hand, and it is critically important that you are using organic compost when it comes to growing tomatoes. Tomatoes are very nutrient hungry, and they need that healthy soil to really get that plant growing and to get that fruit growing. But with that said, the second most important thing is going to be properly supporting your tomato plants. Now, yes, there are commercial farmers that will grow several acres or several hundred acres of tomatoes without supporting them. But when you're growing tomatoes in a garden setting, it's important that they have the proper support to guarantee that the tomato grows properly. It's not touching the ground, it's not getting misformed or rotted, that it has proper ventilation. Again, by staking them up, they are going to have the ability to get air movement through the plant, drying it out after rain or after you water it. And really the third thing is it's going to provide an opportunity for the plant to remain healthy. When that plant is laying across the ground or a portion of it's touching it, that is going to increase the chances of it developing some kind of rot, some kind of fungus, and all different kinds of health issues. So with that said, there are tons of different varieties of supports that are available on the market. Many people make their own, but the most common variety is going to be this right here, which is just a general pole design. This one here is your most commonly found one, which is a plastic with a metal pole that goes through the center of it. Probably the second most popular is going to be a wooden stake, and I use both systems. The wooden stakes are a little bit prone to holding some moisture in it, so you do want to be careful with that. But the metal pole is plastic pole is going to be your cheapest route. You can get these on Amazon. I think I got 50 of them for like $10. And these ones here are a 3-foot pole, which are ideal for your shorter variety of tomato plants. But it is also important to understand that most tomato plants are going to grow upwards of 4 to 6 feet in height. Especially if you're properly taking care of them in a garden setting. So these poles here are short, kind of short for tomato plants, but they're going to work for the variety that I have planted over here. With that said, we're going to move over to our actual raised garden bed, where I'm going to show you how to properly insert these into the ground. So yes, you did hear me right here. There is a proper method to insert your stakes here into the ground, and it's important that you understand. Now, I planted these tomato plants just yesterday. They haven't really had any time to grow. They've been watered in this morning, which is what I recommended in my last video. And you can see here the leaves have already started to dry out. And when I say dry out, I mean that they are not damp at all. They're healthy overall. But when you get tomatoes first planted, typically that root system's kind of bound together and about the size of a softball. And you want to break that root system up a little bit if it's root bound. But those roots are going to start growing out within 2 or 3 days. So it's important that as quickly as you get the plants planted, that you get the supports added. Now, a lot of people will come in, they will insert the pole as close to the stem as possible. If I do that and I push down, I'm going to damage a significant amount of roots, stunting this plant and maybe even killing it. A lot of people will also come way out and insert the stake way too far out, which is going to cause a lot of stress on the stem near the base of the plant as the plant grows on an angle, which isn't too bad at the beginning, but once fruit starts to develop on your tomato plant, that's a lot of weight, which can push down on that stem and cause a strain on it. So you do want it as close to the stem as possible, but you do want to stay outside of where that root system was so you're not damaging any roots. Now, if you do damage some roots on the outer edge, it's likely not going to kill the plant. It is going to cause some stress on it, and it is likely going to stunt it. This pole here, when I insert this, I do want to insert it approximately a foot. So that right there is going to give it some support. These poles here, like I said there in the intro, they were, I think they're 3.5 foot. I think I said 3 foot, but I'm pretty sure they're 3.5 or maybe 4 foot. These poles here are going to work for my setup here because As the plant grows up, there is going to be a T-support that goes across, but near the top of it, which is going to provide some additional space for it to grow. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get stakes on each of these plants, and then I'll check in here in just a moment. All right, guys, and that is it. 7 tomato plants, 7 stakes here. They're about a foot into the ground. They are very sturdy. You can see here as I knock it around, it's not really going to go anywhere. And then as these tomatoes grow up, I will use metal twine to tie off the top, and that's going to connect each of these together, which will then allow the plant to grow up and into a combined area up here. But these tomatoes here are a variety that are a short stem variety, which means that they are not going to grow up too tall. So depending on their size, I might not need to do that, but it's important that they do have this ventilation. Now, people will use twine to tie their plants to the stake. I'm going to tell you right now, that's the worst thing that you can do, in my opinion. Twine holds a lot of moisture and has a lot of rubbing on the plant when the wind blows and the plant moves around. So for me, I use little clips. I did not bring the clips out with me today, so I will show those in another video. And to be honest, these plants here are still kind of too small to really clip them. They have about another 6 inches to grow before they will be clipped onto the pole, or if the plant starts to get close to the ground. Now, with that said, these plants here, with the compost that I have in here, should reach that in about 3 to 5 days, in all honesty. These things are going to perk up and they are going to grow very quickly. Tomato plants otherwise are fairly easy to take care of. They can be a little finicky when growing them directly from seed, but other than that, let me flip you guys around here. Other than that, it's not really a huge challenge. So with that said, if you guys have any questions or comments on staking your plants, I'd be happy to answer them for you. We have a lot of new videos that are coming out here shortly, and I do want to say thank you for everyone who is subscribed to our channel. Hopefully these tips will help you out. Hopefully you learn a little bit, and hopefully you get encouraged to get out in your garden or your homestead here in 2025. With that said, guys, I do want to say thank you for checking out this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.